Hello and welcome to the Album Man, and today on Weekly Rock News we are simply going to be talking about the Grammys. Hello and welcome to the... And today we are... Go die, bitch. Oh, in my first take, I just forgot to talk about this, but I wanted to just very briefly talk about Metallica's performance of One with Lang Lang, just before we get on to, this sort of the Grammy results section. So Metallica's performance with Lang Lang, I was not overly impressed, honestly. I mean, while Lang Lang is a Chinese pianist and is clearly an extremely talented guy, but did it fit One? No. I like the version of One Metallica did with the Symphony. What was it? I can't remember what the CD is called of that, but that's a decent version. This didn't quite work. Lang Lang's keyboard, piano playing even was it was pretty distracting, honestly. He was trying to play almost like he was bloody in King Crimson, sort of, doing loads of jazzy solos and complete over the top playing, and he didn't play like, go back on the piano for even a second practically. He was always just soloing the whole way through, and I think it really detracted from the performance. And I think Metallica in general should actually have adapted their sound, like, toned it down, maybe kind of acoustic guitars for One or something to accommodate the piano playing, but playing it exactly the way they usually do, especially in that section where it gets really heavy at the end. The piano just did not fit. And then Lars' drums, oh dear God, that China cymbal instead of the ride, and he was a bit out of time as well, but I've pretty much given up on Lars, honestly. Now, to the rest of the video. Now, you may be wondering why I would bother to talk about the Grammys, who really gives a shit about them? They're not a great award ceremony. I think most of us rock metal fans don't like it. They don't really go for what's best, it's all about what's popular, and it's really not a great awards ceremony. But if we like it or not, we have to accept that to the music industry as a whole, it is still a big thing, and it is still the biggest awards ceremony in music. So I think it's still worth talking about. I'd like to share some of my opinions, and we're going to be looking at a few different categories. Of course, we're mainly going to be focused on the rock and metal categories, but we're also going to take a little look at Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and Album of the Year. Because, they are, to me, the big three at the Grammys. Well, not to me, but to me the rock and metal ones are, but this is in the whole, as in, they are the biggest ones at the Grammys, I would say. So, Record of the Year. Now, Records of the Year, just to clarify exactly what it means, it basically means Best Recorded Performance of the Year, as opposed to Song of the Year, which is Best Songwriting of the Year, not including the performance. So the nominees were Get Lucky by Daft Punk, Radioactive by Imagine Dragons, Royals by Lordi, Locked Out of Heaven by Bruno Mars, and Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke featuring TJ and Farrell. So, the one that won, of course, was Get Lucky. And I have to say, honestly, well, I don't quite get all the hype over Daft Punk. I did actually listen to Random Access Memories, and I didn't think it was that impressive. It's sort of 70s disco. It's not awful. It's better than, well, Bruno Mars or Robin Thicke, but it's not that great stuff. Though I will admit that Get Lucky, quite honestly, it is actually quite a catchy pop song. For a pop song, it's not that bad. Does that mean I'm gonna start listening to it? No, it doesn't. There's many songs I'd rather listen to from 2013. But is it a decent song? Yeah, honestly, it actually is. I can understand its commercial appeal, definitely. And I think out of those nominees, it was definitely the one that I would say deserved to win. Now, Album of the Year, and talking of Random Access Memories, that's what won Album of the Year. And, well, I disagree hugely that was Album of the Year. I think it's overrated. I don't think it's that well written, honestly. I don't think it does anything particularly special. It's really just a revival album. Well, I like retro albums. I'm a big fan of the whole 70s rock retro stuff and some of the 80s revival stuff, especially the whole prog revival as well. But this, as I said, it's not anything that special, but compared to the other nominees, The Blessed Unrest by Sarah Bareilles, I honestly don't know who the hell that is, Good Kid, M.A.A.D. City by Kendrick Lamar, The Heist by Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, Red by Taylor Swift. You know, I have to say Random Access Memories is probably the king of Ted Mountain, but calling it Album of the Year, it's not surprising, honestly. I would have predicted it would have won even before, what I did before the nominations came in. I thought it'd win the Grammy, but, you know, it's not great, is it really? Now, Song of the Year, and this is the last of the more mainstream ones before we go on to the rock and metal, the more interesting stuff, but, you know, still, these are the biggest ones in the industry. And the winner of this was Royals by Lordi. And the other nominees were Just Give Me a Reason by Pink, Locked Out of Heaven by Bruno Mars, Raw by Katy Perry, oh dear God, that song's bad, and Same Love by Macklemore and Ryan Lewis. Now, I did actually decide to listen to all 5 of these songs because, you know, if I'm going to be talking about them, I should at least know a little bit about what I'm talking about. And I mean, I honestly, I hate all of them. I really do. Raw, particularly, that is the worst. That is just such generic, just pop. It's just pointless. It's lowest common denominator shit, honestly. The other ones, I mean, they're a bit better, but they're still absolute crap, you know. They're, you know, if Raw is a 0 out of 10, the others are 0.5s. Now, Royals, the winner. Out of this bunch, did it deserve to win? I suppose. But was it really a great song? Now, I actually had this when it got to number 1 in the UK. I gave it a go, and I can't say I got all the hype. I mean, I don't know why I would over some pop song, but yeah, Lordi is a 17-year-old New Zealander, only born a couple of months after myself, so I'm very slightly older than her, and it's really not a great song. I mean, even like full pop, like with Get Lucky, I can understand, you know, it has that big chorus to it and stuff. It's just a nicely written song, you know, for that type of stuff. This isn't really. It doesn't have a great beat to it, which seems to be a thing of pop music, because people seem to want to dance to them more than actually just listen to them, which I'm not saying I personally understand. It doesn't have a particularly great chorus. There's no big melodies, nothing that really goes around in your head. The lyrics are pretty lackluster. Her voice isn't that great. Yeah, she can sing, but I've heard way better in many different artists. Just, it's not a special voice, not particularly great songwriting. How did something like that wins a Grammy? I don't know. But now let's have a look at the more interesting categories. So, Best Rock Performance. So we have the nominees: Radioactive by Imagine Dragons, Always Alright by Alabama Shakes, The Stars Are Out Tonight by David Bowie, Kashmir by Led Zeppelin, My God Is the Sun by Queens of the Stone Age, and I'm Shaken by Jack White. Now, Jack White, love the White Stripes, not a big fan of, personally, I'm Shaken or Blunderbuss, but, you know, I would certainly be happy with Jack White winning. Queens of the Stone Age, My God Is the Sun is fantastic, even if it's only the second best song on the album, because I Appear Missing is a far better song, honestly, even though My God Is the Sun is still amazing. Kashmir, we'll talk a bit more about Celebration Day a bit later on, honestly. Stars Are Out Tonight, to me, that should win. That's the comeback. It's an interesting song. It shows Bowie back in full swing, a classic artist at their peak, but no, it's Radioactive by Imagine Dragons that wins. Now, is that really a rock song? No. I don't... Would I consider Imagine Dragons a rock band? Not really. I consider them maybe sort of neo-folk type stuff. Like, they're not a rock band. Radioactive to me is a pure pop song. If it was nominated for best song, best pop song, you know, best contemporary jazz solo, no, obviously not that category. That is a category, best like jazz solo. That's an odd category, honestly. But yeah, it's not really rock song. It shouldn't even have been nominated as far as I can say in that category. I mean, I think it's a pretty shit song, but you know, it's been very popular, been on the radio so much. I can understand why it's nominated for a Grammy, but not this one. Seriously, Grammys. But for once, the Grammys did do something actually quite right with Best Metal Performance. Yes, the nominees were God Is Dead by Black Sabbath, TNT by Anthrax. We'll talk about that in a sec. The Enemy Inside by Dream Theater, In Due Time by Killswitch Engage, and Room 24 by Volbeat featuring King Diamond. All of those are songs I either like or respect. Room 24, fantastic song. The Enemy Inside, fantastic song. God Is Dead, just, oh my god, what a song. In Due Time, not my type of thing, but definitely a song I can respect. TNT by Anthrax, I love Anthrax, but oh come on, that was an awful cover of TNT. It was basically the exact same as TNT. But see my full review on Anthems if you want to know my opinions on that. But God Is Dead won, and that is fantastic. I'm very pleased Black Sabbath won. I think they were the most deserving. The big comeback with a fantastic song, interesting riffs. Ozzy's voice sounded pretty good, even nice production from Rick Rubin, and everything just fell into place for 13. And I really, you know, I'm pleased it got that more mainstream acknowledgement. That's always nice to see. A band like Black Sabbath, who, you know, were always critically panned in the 70s and in their heyday, and now to see them get some mainstream recognition, it's nice. It's definitely nice to see them getting the respect they deserve, as they are, well, they're the founders of metal. The whole Metal Performance Award is really, in a lot of parts, due to them. So, yes. Good one, Grammys. Now, Best Rock Song. Quite interesting that God Is Dead was nominated again, as well as Doom and Gloom by Mick Jagger by the Rolling Stones. Ain't Messing Around by Gary Clark Jr., Panic Station by Muse, and Cut Me Some Slack by Paul McCartney, Dave Grohl, Chris Novoselic, and Pat Smear. So Nirvana, basically, plus Paul McCartney. And of course, Cut Me Some Slack won. Shocker, Paul McCartney won another Grammy. Shocker, Dave Grohl. You know, it's not really surprising. But honestly, I mean, firstly, I don't know why God Is Dead was nominated for Best Rock Song and Best Metal Performance. Just, okay. But it won a Grammy, so that's cool. I'm okay. Doom and Gloom, absolutely fantastic song. Seriously, it's up there. I mean, it may sound silly, but it's actually up there with some of my favourite Stones songs. Like, no joke. I love that song. Ain't Messing Around. It's not as good as, like, I mean, I like Gary Clark Jr., but it's not as good as, it's not one of the strongest songs in the album, I'd say. I'd say When My Train Comes In, it's a way, way better song. And then Panic Station, let's not talk about the second law, because, just, let's not even go there. But Cut Me Some Slack, it won. I remember being bitterly disappointed when I heard this song. It sounded great. Dave Grohl, Paul McCartney, wonderful. I found it really quite an uninteresting song. I don't get all the hype behind the song, honestly. I mean, the Sound City Real to Real album was very well reviewed, got a good Metacritic score and stuff, not like Metacritic Matters, you know. There's many problems with that website. But Cut Me Some Slack, was it really that good? No. I'd say it's simply just because of who wrote it and who was on it that it won. And lastly, Best Rock Album. So, the nominees were Celebration Day by Led Zeppelin, 13 by Black Sabbath, The Next Day by David Bowie, Mechanical Bull by Kings of Leon, Like Clockwork by Queens of the Stone Age, and Psychedelic Pill by Neil Young, Crazy Horse. Now, any of these really, except for Mechanical Bull, I would have been happy with. But there's also another exception, honestly. And that's Celebration Day, which won it. Now, you might think, hold on, Am I going to start hating on Led Zeppelin? Hell no. I love Led Zeppelin, of course I do. Big classic rock fan. Led Zeppelin 2, particularly for me, just one of the best rock albums. And Stairway to Heaven, my probably second favourite song of all time, if not first. It changes depending on my mood. So why would I not be happy Celebration Day 1? Because as far as I can say, it's not really a new album. I mean, there's no new songs on it. I mean, yeah, it's a cool album. I like the sound on it. Yeah, it's awesome that Led Zeppelin reunited for a gig in 2006. But firstly, the gig was a while ago. I mean, I don't think a live album really should be nominated personally. I think it should only be for studio albums, this category, but that's me. Yeah, there was nothing new about it. There was nothing that exciting compared to The Next Day by Bowie, or 13 by Black Sabbath, or like Clockwork by Queens of the Stone Age. Or I personally don't like Neil Young, but I can definitely respect the guy. He's been around a long time. He's an institution in rock. So, you know, Psychedelic Pill, even though, God, his voice grates on me, but, you know, that's just purely subjective. I certainly have a lot of respect for the guy. So yeah, the Grammys, overall, pretty shit. But what did I expect? This has been TheAIbumMan. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe, and long live some proper rock and fucking roll.